Everybody, thanks for watching. Just a quick reminder that the flash drive sale is still available. Make sure you guys take advantage. A lot of flash drives went out the other day, so it shouldn't be too many people waiting for flash drives. Those of you waiting for the cell phone flash drives, they're on the way. We got a lot of those out as well. Appreciate everybody's patience and support on that. Also, today is the last day for the book sale. If you want to get this book, which is $199, I sell it for, it's $89.99 for the sale. Thanks to everybody who supported and grabbed the book, understanding the value. But today's the last day for that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to keep it up till Monday. I forgot, a lot of people did ask about it. So Monday will be the last day for this sale for the book. It's $89.99 right now, and to go back to $199, the price it says on the book on Monday. So make sure you guys take advantage if you want to grab the book for $89.99 today. Also, there are other sales that is combined with the flash drive sale and Never Pay Again membership. Those sales are still up and they will be down on Monday. Make sure you guys take advantage. As I said, yeah, we got these books in. A lot of people asked for this book, Reverse Psychology of Black Economic Wealth. That book is available. Make sure you guys grab it. Also, as I just explained, $89.99 for the 700-page, over 700 pages for my second edition of The Self-Inflicted Religious Deception. Make sure you guys grab this book, second edition, over 700 pages, a bunch of colored pictures. It's been revised, redone, much better than it was before. So I appreciate the people who bought it. And as I said, it's a lot of people waiting on that book. So if you got the book before and you're waiting on it, it's going out. It's a lot of people who ordered the book before and it has been waiting. So the book is out. We're just waiting on God to be through and get shipped to us. And then we'll ship those out. I know it's a lot of people waiting for that book. So we're going to get that out as quickly as possible. We're not going to sell any of those books until I get those inbound. So make sure you guys take advantage of the sale. It will go back. I really appreciate it. And we really could use the support. So I appreciate it. And yeah, let's get into this video. So I talked about before how a lot of states want to do reparations. And a lot of people are against it, of course. But again, this is something that you have to really be subjective about and understand. One, we understand why it wants to be done. Systemic racism it still exists. We can prove how much it plays a part in where we are as Black people today. There were literally laws passed to hinder us from growing economically as a people. These laws still exist. There's a lot of things that politicians did to keep us from growing economically. These things still exist, but we can point to a lot of them and see how they directly affected Black people and a lot of cases, specific Black families. Like if you go to the case of Black Wall Street, we go to Rosewood. And I remember on Rosewood, those people owned that land. They owned their land. So what happened to them was kind of crazy because they actually was getting massacred and slaughtered on their own land. It's crazy how they hide so much. And, you know, we talk about the whole 40 acres and a mule. Believe it or not, a lot of Black people own land and own businesses and end up getting tricked and, you know, murdered out of their business. And it's a lot of stuff that happened to a lot of these landowners, wealthy Black landowners. We talk about it in the 20s, even as far as the 60s, a lot of things that happened to these Black businesses and just understanding how economics work. Because if you get these people sucked into your system, Black businesses, and you get them dependent on these bank loans to stay afloat, or what have you, whether the business is doing good or not, if the bank defaults, or let's say if the bank pulls back or raises the interest rates or what have you, or just stop financing a Black business, the business goes under. There's ways of getting rid of companies, you know, and just if you don't own the building that you're in, that's another thing. So it's like it was real tough for Black people because we had to really own the business. You know, we had to own the building that the business was in, the land. So that we didn't have to worry about, you know, the white man coming and pulling the rug from under us. But this is what happened in a lot of cases. So looking at reparations, we can understand why it must be done and how a lot of lawmakers and people are looking at history and saying, you know what, this is crazy that we can point to so many different things to explain why the Black community is where it is economically. And it goes back to systemic racism. This is an argument I wish I could argue because I can kill this. You gotta understand. One, everybody is eating off Black people. Every fucking race but us. We are the only people who are not benefiting from Black wealth is Black people. Period, point blank. And I'm talking about globally. The only place you don't see it as much is in, countries like Sweden and maybe Germany, but it's there, just not as much. But understand, everybody, every group of people, every country, every continent is eating off of Africa, is eating off of black people. And it's real prevalent, especially here in America and of course in Africa. But you got to understand that, as I broke this down before, you need somebody to finance your community. And it's so deep how it goes because, as I said, your community, let's say, has $10 million that circulates annually within that community. That's all that's going to be in that community is that 10 million. That's all. That's net worth of everybody in there. So no matter what you do or buy, it's always going to continually be that 10 million. Now, because that's all the money that exists within that community. Now, if you go outside of the community and you bring money in, then that adds to the community. And this is basically how you grow economically. It's economics. So you need a people to do that. Now, when you understand how business works, and you look at it and you say, well, these people want 300% profits. They want major profits. White folks ain't going for that. White folks ain't going for the markup. They'll do exactly what you're doing, or they'll protest you to the point to where you have to make the prices more reasonable. So you need a people who can pay, who is willing to pay outrageous prices for certain things. And that's black people. They use that, us trying to fit in and try to be on top and look a certain way. It's not just prevalent today. I mean, we go way back and it was there. And it's the whole point of the whole movie I talked about before, selling to the Negro. And just letting white businesses know, don't be racist, don't be stupid. This is the agenda, this is the plan, to sell the Negro, to sell to black people. Let them in your stores, let them buy shit. They have money. And this is going to grow the economy. And this is what happens. But you need a people that's going to finance the growth of your people. And that has been black people historically. So what I talked about in this book is just understanding how that happened, and understanding that, if the white community has 10 million annually in that community, and then they bring in funds from outside. Now, how do they do that? We understand that, back in the day, you had white businesses in white neighborhoods, and black people came from the ghettos or black neighborhoods into the white neighborhoods to work. And that was a tough thing. So once integration happened, you had black people who can now come into the white community and shop. That was the whole thing of selling a Negro. Now they can come into the white community, the white shopping district, and spend that money. That's new money coming from a new source into the white community, along with the money they already was bringing in, being patronized by their own people. So that's extra money. So this is how you begin to grow wealth within that community. But it's so deep that people don't understand it, because we're looking at it as, well, that family owns a restaurant, or that family owns a store. And then it could just be a regular white family next door that works at a job or whatever like that. But the thing is, those tax dollars is going towards that community. So what it's going to do is benefit the job he works at, and it's going to allow for him to get a raise. It's going to allow for his kids to go to a good school and grow up and be able to go to college, because there's so much money coming into that community that's going to make it possible for those white families to do better in life, because they live in that certain zip code and that type of money is coming into their community. Whereas in the black community, it's leaving the black community, and we're not getting those tax dollars and that money for our kids to go to great schools. And then now we're forced to, try to get a raise or work 2 jobs and so on and so forth to meet the minimum of what the white person is meeting. So what happens is they destroy the black businesses in the black community. They open more businesses in the black community. They let the Asians in to open up businesses. They let the Latinos in to open up businesses. They make sure that black people cannot open up businesses. What is that? What is that? That is systematic racism. And that's you having to understand what was done to make it so we can't grow economically as a people. So what's going to happen is this. Case in point is, we understand you had rich black people who created Black Wall Street. We had rich black people who funded civil rights movement, all of the marches or what have you. These are rich, wealthy black people who own businesses. So if you understand that, okay, you have a time where black people are pulling together their wealth and using it to fund things that's going against government, that's going against their oppression. You understand? Systemic racism. So you have to change that. And this is what is so cleverly covered up, is how they changed it with just little things. And we don't understand that, okay, so now you got to go to college and get a degree to work at these certain corporations and jobs. And they made it hard for us to do that. And then we have to understand that, well, wait a minute, they taught trades and skills in high school, and you left high school with basically a certification for you to be able to work in these steel mills and factories and what have you. Well, guess what? We're going to get rid of all the fucking factories and steel mills, and we're going to make sure that the white people, the wealthy white people, open all the businesses. They own all the businesses. So now the factories and stuff they had, guess what we're going to do with China? We're going to send our manufacturing over there and just work with them. It's going to be cheaper. And then we don't have to worry about black people or needing black people to come work for us. We can have them work for us in a different capacity. So when we look at the major things that you can make crazy money off as a black person, doctor, lawyer, that's not easy. It wasn't easy to become those things or even go to school or be able to afford school to do that. So then you're talking about scientists and astrophysicists or what have you. Where's the money going to come from as a poor black family in the 50s, 60s, or what have you, to get the money to do this? Now, we was already smart and we was already coming up, and there's only, as we know, there's a few black people who invented things and was able to go to school, but as a whole, we was affected. We could not grow economically as a people as a whole because of this, but a few people flourished. So you can see where the differences is in those people that flourished, and you look at their stories and see what happened. But on a large part, they made sure that the majority of black people cannot afford to go to these schools, which means we're not going to be able to grow economically as a people, meaning you can't send your kid to college to get that degree to go work at this Fortune 500 company to make six figures or what have you. It's not going to happen. We're forced to be the workers now, not owners, workers. And by workers, of course, everybody works, but you need people who are going to be your cashiers, be your janitors or what have you, your custodians, your maintenance guys, your trash pickup people or what have you. You're going to need people that's going to go and work at these jobs that these white business owners are creating for them by building businesses, by creating businesses. So it's like, okay, if I open up a business, but the community is so wealthy and the people around me are so wealthy to where, guess what? They go open up a business as well. They can afford what I can afford. So who am I going to open my business up to? Understand? So it's like you got to really grasp this. It's like, okay, you're not going to open up a business around a bunch of wealthy white people. If you do that, what you have to sell has to be something that they want and need that's expensive or what have you. You open up a supermarket, people got to eat. That's fine. But your prices got to be right. You got to be competitive, or they can afford to go somewhere else. Whereas if you open up a restaurant or business or what have you in the black neighborhood, the black community, then these people who don't understand economics so much will be more willing to go and patronize these businesses because they don't exist. Nobody has them. A regular black person is not, we're not able to open up this restaurant or this store or what have you to work one and to provide jobs for people and to just have as a business. We can't do that. So if it's in our community where we can't have this stuff, then guess what? Black people are going to come there. They're going to shop there. So it's almost cause and effects or what have you. But this same thing is basically going to happen again. So we got to understand, getting into this digital currency and getting into this digital dollar and understanding how this stuff is going to work. We're already seeing it at this level with the algorithm. Understanding how, one, they can censor your videos, they can censor your output, they can make it so everybody who's following you is not seeing your content. So now, if you come in with this different constitution or ideology or what have you, then you can control what people do. So right now, what we have with the corona or whatever, you can say, well, it's not healthy for people to eat certain things or to do certain things or be in certain places. So let's just say, they close down or they don't want a certain amount of people in the store, or they close down a store or anything like that. If they control your money, they control your transactions. So if your doctor say something like, well, you can't have red meat no more, and you go to the supermarket and you try to buy a steak and your card declines, or your card won't let you purchase the steak because your doctor said you can't have it, you got to think about that. Some people say, well, that's good, I need my card to do that, but that takes away your freedom. You should have the freedom to be able to do that. Even though it sounds crazy, they're just trying to protect you how it will look. But it's still something that takes away your freedom. So you parlay that into buying a car, paying your rent, paying your bills, getting on the bus, whatever. If they can control transactions, they control your life. And this is what's gonna happen. This is what's coming. They're gonna have it so they can control transactions. Not only is every transaction going to be monitored, but they can control it. Now the concept is not hard to grasp because we've seen this for anybody who had a food stamp card and you tried to buy hot food with it. You try to buy hot food along with the cold food will come up for food stamps, but they're hot food and they make you pay cash. And it's like, well, damn, it's there and it understands that you're trying to buy something that's cooked and the card won't let you pay for it with food stamps because it's cooked and you can't buy cooked food, with food stamps if that still exists. I remember back in the day, that's how it was. But this is what's coming and how it's going to change economics. Whether it benefits us or not, we don't know. But if it's a list, if things are put on like let's say a green list and a red list, a black list or what have you, to where you can only buy things with that's on a certain list. So let's say you have your credit card now and your credit card doesn't allow you to purchase things on a certain list. So let's say you try to buy something that's, esoteric or it's going to benefit you or some type of, conspiracy theorist stuff or what have you, and your card doesn't allow you. You can't pay for it cash. You can't pay for it with digital currency. It's not going to get patronized. It's not going to get bought. And this is basically how you get rid of all the bullshit. I mean, it can be used so crazy to, it's systemic racism. And, the people who need support and need the benefits of support won't get it if they're not down with, the system or what have you. It's going to be so many things that they implement to hinder success. And whether that is, just black economics alone or just, freedom period, remains to be seen. Now, as I talked about before, racism is something they want to get rid of. You can clearly see that. It's just dwindling down towards something we don't know what it's going to end up being. But if you look at the commercials and movies now, it's really pro, let's just say, interracial couples or what have you. And the ideologies is starting to change a little bit. But it doesn't mean that systemic racism is gone. It just means it's going to change and take a different form. Also, it doesn't matter for people, who are older, because this is stuff that's going to happen down the line. We want to see relief now. People not worry about 10, 20 years from now. It's like we need to see some type of relief now on the situation. Or people will ask me about reparations and when it's going to kick in. It's going to kick in for the whole of America or what have you. We don't know. It's just so much going on now. But we got to look at where this is stemming from. And I've had arguments about this with black people and white people and people who just disagree for whatever reason. And I'm like, fair is fair. When you look at historically, people who have gotten reparations and gotten paid back for shit that was wrongdoing, I mean, nobody fits that more than black people in this country. But it's not just slavery. See, people want to take it back to slavery. Oh, it was just so long ago. No. What happened to after slavery when the real systemic racism kicked in? You was a slave, you knew what you was. You could take that risk. My black ass would have been one of the people who tried to go up north where it was free. I had to try to escape. We understand what slavery was, but then they can kick all the shit they want. But then after slavery, what was that? The lynchings were still going on. Systemic racism was crazy. We couldn't vote. You talking about a people who marched, peacefully, peaceful protests, took beatings. The whole time we just saying, hey, we want equality. We want to be brothers and sisters. We want to be cool. We want to be down. We not trying to lynch y'all. We're not trying to kill y'all. We just want what we are, what we deserve. We want the respect. We are men, we are women, or what have you. This is what we're saying. And then you have a fucking whole race of people that's basically saying no. We don't recognize you as human beings or people. Not everybody, but, the system. So I'm saying this so you guys understand, for especially the black people who disagree with reparations, you got to understand that there's so much we could point to in history to show why we deserve it and why we should get it, or something should be done to help benefit black people specifically because of systemic racism, and to just point out even more so how it still exists. It's just that simple. It's not, it's not crazy, to think that this could be done, nationwide. But I can understand why people will object to it. It's just that right is right, wrong is wrong. We deserve reparations. We deserve something to be done. At least free college and tax free. I mean, they won't even admit to our real history. Us being kings before them and it's so much. It's a lot. We at least deserve that. The money, something. But yeah, it's ongoing debate. Still in the news, still being talked about. So something to look into, which I'll continue to put out videos on this. But yeah, just want to put out this quick video. And make sure you guys grab the sale and support. New DVDs coming up, new videos coming up. But yeah, I appreciate the support. I appreciate everybody who's been taking the time to go through the site. It's being updated, by the way, Merkable Academy. Make sure you guys register, okay? Appreciate the support. See you next video.